Joining me now is Mark Pemberton, head coach of Rhea County Golden Eagles. Coach, I appreciate you taking time to join us today.
I appreciate you having us on.
Coach, it's 2012, your first season at Brentwood. You start out 8-0, win District 11 title, carry the Bruins to the quarterfinals. What went into the decision process that made you leave all that for a Rhea County team that was 3-17 over the previous two seasons?
Well, it was a good situation. It was close to home. I live in Rockwood, which is 20 minutes north of Dayton or Spring City.
Uh-huh.
And they've just built some fantastic facilities. They got a big, huge stadium that's got turf, and got just built a brand new high school. And superintendent was the defensive coordinator when I was there the first time. I was offensive coordinator. He was the defensive coordinator.
Uh-huh.
The principal, Jesse Messimer, played linebacker at University of Tennessee. He's coached there with us before. And then the athletic director was the running backs coach when I was offensive coordinator there before. So it was a situation where it was lined up, with the brand new facilities and the new high school. And,
just a good fit, would.
Well, at the end, it's a one-horse town. There's no other schools you got to battle for your kids. It's
right.
There's one school in the county, so and all that together made me realize, and I've known it before when I was there as an assistant. I sort of always kept my eye on it, but maybe realize that's a heck of a job, and I didn't want to pass it up.
Well, Coach, you've done a heck of a job there at Rhea County. You took over a team that quite honestly had experienced a lot of success in recent years, and you've led them to a District 6 championship there in your first season. You've been pretty much successful everywhere you've been. That includes that undefeated championship team there at Knoxville Catholic back in 2008. What is it that makes Mark Pemberton so successful there everywhere he goes?
Well, usually you got to have the players for one, and I've been fortunate to have that. And you got to have great assistant coaches, and our assistant coaches done a super job, at Brentwood and here and anywhere where we've won. And you got to surround yourself with outstanding coaches, and I've been lucky there to do that.
Coach, do you see Rhea County as potentially your last stop?
Oh, yeah, that's the plan.
Huh.
That's the plan. You never know what happens, but as far as I'm concerned, it is the last stop, yes.
Right. Coach, your team, is exactly where you would have hoped them to be right now. You're sitting in the top District 6. You're ranked in the top 10. I'm going to be honest with you. When I looked over that schedule, really the only blemish in your record was the Walker Valley game, which, that if I had to pick one, that wouldn't have been the one I'd pick. What exactly happened in that game?
Well, we got up our first three possessions. We were up 17-0.
Uh-huh.
We just laid an egg from then on, and we ended up after the game. We were extremely disappointed in the way we played after those first three possessions, and we ended up making some personnel changes, moving some people around.
Mm-hmm.
And if that loss hadn't happened, we might not have done that. So we really feel like that was probably. Now I don't like to lose at any time, but.
Right.
But that probably helped us in the long run because we found some combinations of players that we've really solidified here lately, and they've played well. So that's probably the best thing that could happen to us. But you don't think that at the time.
Well, I mean, that's, in my opinion, that's a mark of a good coach and a good coaching staff. Being able to take the positive out of a loss and make the necessary changes. And obviously, it's worked out for you guys, Coach. Cookeville and Coffee County typically represent that district, in the past years here in the playoffs. And obviously this year you've got your team playing well. And I among other people, felt Coach Maynard would do a good job there at Cookeville. Would you say the job that Matt Hauser's done there at White County is maybe the surprise of the district this year?
Oh, he's done a fantastic job. Just looking at their athletes, they look better physically than I've seen a White County team look in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell he's had them in the weight room. They're a lot better. They're more physical up front. They're running the football, playing good defense. He's done a great job of that program, and it's going to get better and better.
Yes, sir. They've got obviously Cookeville coming up here, and that will be for second place in the district. Who, you've played both of those teams. Who would you give the edge to in that one?
Well, I tell you what, I think it's going to be a battle. I think both of them are pretty equal. Cookville might throw the ball a little bit better. I know they've sort of made some changes too here lately. I know Coach Maynard really well. He's a good friend of mine, and I think that Cookville may have a little bit of an edge, but White County's playing off well, got a lot of confidence. So I think it'll be a nail biter down to the wire.
That's kind of the way I'm at. I've compared common opponents, and it just really isn't a bit of difference between those teams. That I'm like you, I'd probably have to swing it with Cookville having the home game there, give them a slight edge. And I also like Coach Maynard a lot. He's a friend of mine as well.
Yeah, he does a great job and has done it a long time. He and I coached together at Epperman High School back in '96, I guess. We got the semifinals there at Epperman, but Jimmy does a fantastic job. Both those guys do. Coach Hauser's obviously done a great job at White County too.
Right, Coach Pemberton, you've got senior quarterback there, Austin Dotson. He's had a really great season running your huddle. He doesn't have the gaudy numbers, but he wins ball games by not making mistakes and getting the ball into the playmaker's hand. How vital has his role been to the success this season?
Well, he's managed us probably about as good as any quarterback I've ever had. He's got no interceptions. He's got, I think, 18 or 19 touchdown passes.
Right.
And we don't throw it a whole lot. We're in anywhere from 6 to 12 a game. 12 is usually not characteristic of us, but we're anywhere from 6 to 12 passes per game. So I can't say enough about Austin. He's done a great job. He's managed our offense. He's a smart kid, and he makes the throws when we need one.
Yes, sir. Matter of fact, you were saying that you don't pass the ball a lot. I know you got Demetrius Patterson, Jacob York, and is it Joby Berry? I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly.
That's correct, yes.
You've pretty much really split the ball amongst those three kids. Their numbers are all relatively close. Is the fact that you've been able to share the duties there with your offense in the running game, has that made you guys a lot less predictable on offense?
I think so. And we also got a receiver, and it's Demetrius' brother, Noel Patterson. He's had some big catches for us. So we really feel like we're pretty well balanced. And those guys can catch the football as well, those wing backs. So we feel like we're pretty well balanced, even though we don't throw it a whole lot. We do have the capability of making some big plays because the defense is crowd us so much. There'll be 9 in the box, 10 in the box sometimes. So I think we're pretty equal as far as run game goes. And then when we have to throw it or when we need to throw it, then Austin's done a good job distributing the ball to the receivers.
You and Coach Shadowns remind me a lot of each other. You've been to a few places, and you've really, done good at every program you've been at. And I got a lot of respect for him, and you guys are really similar in that respect. I kind of got off topic there. I just listening to you, I was kind of thinking about listening to Coach Shadowin. But Coach, obviously Saturday morning everybody's going to know where they're at in the playoffs. Currently, I've got you guys projected as probably the 1 seed there in Quad 2. Now, I do think that West is probably going to get bumped over to Quad 2 with you guys, and you've got all those tough teams there in District 5 with Cleveland and obviously East Hamilton that you guys just played last week. Do you feel that quad may be the toughest quad in 5A?
Well, I tell you, I'd hate to see the other one if it isn't. That's you're talking about West, Ottawa, East Hamilton, Cleveland, us. I mean, it doesn't get much tougher than that now.
You got that right.
That's an unbelievable quad. You forget about trying to figure out if you're going to be in the best bracket because both brackets are going to be loaded, so.
Right.
So, you're going to have to beat quality teams if you want to advance.
There won't be any planning ahead in that quad, will there, Coach?
No. They won't. And even, they're talking about Lenore City maybe being an 8 seed. Now, Lenore City's not a bad football team. I think Maryville beat them 28-10 maybe.
Right.
That's a pretty good football team. So even the guys that are the lower seeds can beat you on a given night. So that's playoff football at its best.
Yes, sir. I'm looking forward to it. It's just right around the corner.
Yeah.
I had you in my top 10 in the preseason. Everybody laughed at me, so I appreciate you making me look smart.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
Well, I'll let you go, Coach. I appreciate it, buddy.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you, man.